Good evening, everyone. This is T Rob with the Biz Pulse coming at you again. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. If it's first time tuning in, thank you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, share all that fun stuff. We get to the pulse of the business. We talk to the people that are actually grinding and working inside the walls of business. And we're at that again tonight. We've got Sam from all the way over from South Africa that's going to be talking to us about his business, but also about his life in general. And we always like to find out what people are doing. We were talking off camera, and being an entrepreneur is tough. And when you have people, that you can talk to about different things, it really helps. So that's why I do this show. It helps me because I see a lot of different people and talk to a lot of different people. So I'm going to quit talking and I'm going to go ahead and bring Sam in and let him introduce himself. Sam, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. Welcome.
Hey Rob, I hope you can hear me clearly.
Oh yeah, I can definitely hear you. So, I kind of said a little bit about you, but I'd love for you just to kind of tell your story and what you're doing now and what your plans are and all that fun stuff.
All right. So my name is Sam. I'm from South Africa, Cape Town. I don't know how many people in there know about Cape Town, but yeah, I'm from Cape Town, South Africa, a student at the university there. Not to brag, but it's the number one university in Africa.
Very nice, man.
So yeah. So I'm doing computer science and computer engineering there.
Wow.
Because
You must be a smart one.
I mean, no, I'm just another guy, bro. I'm just another guy. So yeah, I'm doing computer science and computer engineering here, and I really, really have a passion for entrepreneurship. And for the last 3 or so years, I've been, trying my hand in it, learning quite a lot of stuff. I've been like a part of like a number of startups, most of which failed. Since we were like what 20, yeah. Since I was like 20, I've been trying things. Some would make us some money here and there, some wouldn't, but all of it was like great learning experience, and that's something that I really appreciate. Having had that opportunity to learn and having had that opportunity to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So learning from my mistakes, learning from others has been really helpful in bringing me to the point, that I am at right now. And I don't think I would be here if I hadn't, risked and tried to do different things in the past 3 or 4 years. So that's where I am, and I'm very passionate about problem solving. So I mean, that's what I assume everyone sees entrepreneurship as. It's all about problem solving, and I live in a different world. The difference between you and I is that you live in a first world. I live in a in a different world, developing country, and a developing country that's actually the most unequal in the world. If you check out Gini coefficient, you'll see crazy stuff. So I live in one of the most, if not the most, unequal countries in the world. So you can imagine that the problems that we face are very unique. And I think it's also a known thing that the problems that Africa faces are generally very unique as compared to the problems that are faced by the global north, Europe, by the US. So I'm very passionate about solving problems for the communities around me to ensure that I at least leave the world, better than I found it. I at least leave the world, a better place for the next generations. So that's really what I'm about. I'm about involving myself in projects that solve like really, really important problems, be it access to job opportunities, access to skills, access to better education. And if I can do that with technology, I always try and do that. So that's essentially what I'm about. And also the former president of what we call the Entrepreneur Society. I don't know if I should go on also
No,
because
keep going, keep going. I'm very intrigued, and just I want to touch on some of the stuff you said. Like being an entrepreneur is tough, and true entrepreneurs have failed. You know, I mean, like probably multiple times. Even the guys that are multi gazillionaires at this point, if you talk with them, even an Elon Musk, he's failed at things. You know, so um, the only way to make it is to fail and learn. And if the problem is a lot of people fail and they don't learn, you know. so that's a problem. You want to make sure that you're actually learning from the failures that you've had in your life, which it sounds like you're on the right track. And the other thing I wanted to talk about and just say, your heart is in the right place when you're wanting to help people, because that's, to me, will get you further in life than anything. You know, I mean, like, you will succeed with just having that mindset and that heart. So hats off to you, Sam. Great job on that.
100%. Thank you so much, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, helping people is also very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Which brings me to also my leadership at university. The former president of what we call the UCT Entrepreneur Society. Basically, it's how can I call what can I call it? I don't know if you would have read about the story of Google and how it started and all of that.
Um, I guess I have it. I don't know the full beginning of it.
Yes. So when I was like 16 or something, yeah, I read these books. It's actually very important, a very important part of my story as to how I got into this, because I actually wanted to study chemical engineering, right? When I was in grade 11. I don't know if you have grades. I think you should.
Yeah.
You're doing
Yeah, we
this,
do.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in the 11th grade, I wanted to do chemical engineering, and towards the end of the year, uh, I was bored, and usually when I was bored, I would read, go to a library, something. So me and my friends went to a library. That's what we do, I guess. So
Yeah.
went to the library, and at the library, I came across a series of books. They're really small. It's about 10 of them or something.
Hmm.
They're called Wizards of Technology. So each book is a story of a company, these well-known companies in tech. I think the first one I came across was the story of Google. So it takes you through the story of how Larry and Sergey grew up and what did they get up to, how they started Google, the hells they went through,
Hmm.
and all of that stuff. So, and if you read that book, I hope I'm right because I read it 6, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and there's a part where it talks about how I think it was Larry Page, where they say when he was still doing computer engineering, he was actually the chairperson of the Dev Soc, the Dev Society at the university. So the Entrepreneurship Society is just like what the Dev Society would be, but this is just focused on entrepreneurship. And it just so
Gotcha.
happens that a lot of the entrepreneurship that we focus on is about technology, because I mean that's the space that I'm in, and as the president,
Right. Right.
I'm going to be focusing on it. And the guy who recruited me, actually, because I was one of the directors before I became president, the guy who recruited me to be one of the directors was actually in tech. You know, he was one of my friends who has seen me do some pretty good stuff, seen me in competitions, national competitions. We went to the finals. We're
Nice.
doing good stuff, man, and we're the only students there. And I think maybe he saw something, was like, let me recruit this guy. He's doing really great and all of that. And to have him in the finals of a national competition, when they're still in ideation, when everyone else has already started operations, maybe he has something. And that's how I got into I got into the society, and then I ended up being the president of it. So our role was to support the other student entrepreneurs
Okay.
in the UCT ecosystem, because we realized that the university wasn't necessarily offering much support. And the way things were done before is that you would have a speaker comes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how a lot of societies used to operate. You have a speaker comes, they give a talk. They give a talk for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, and then they leave. They tell you
Right.
about their story, how they, achieved whatever they've achieved in business and all of that. And then you're inspired for 2 days. After 2 days, the excitement is gone, really, because you're not
Yeah.
going to do anything with that inspiration. We decided to actually focus on the practical aspects of offering support, where we would do master classes, have networking events, have what we called the startup simulation challenge. So how the startup simulation challenge worked was that we say, show the participants, 25 of them. That's how it started, I think. And we say you got to choose one of the, I don't remember how many there are, the sustainable development goals. You choose one of those,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's access to education, trying to reduce poverty, whatever one you choose, and you build a business. You build a business idea out of whatever you've chosen. Because
Hmm.
the thing that we really wanted to drill in was that entrepreneurship is about problem solving.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, you should be solving problems. And a lot of the problems that have to do with those sustainable development goals, a lot of those problems are problems that are faced mostly by developing countries, and countries in Africa. And it's important that they learn to focus on solving the problems that are around them. So that's essentially what we were doing, and what we're trying to teach the participants of the challenge and whatnot. So we partnered with some of the accelerators in here, partnered with some of the entrepreneurs who are already doing well. So the criteria for you to be a mentor
Mm-hmm.
on our program was that you had to have gone through at least one round of funding. So that's essentially what we're doing, man. We're trying to offer support. We also had a pitching competition we called the Leopard's Lair. And I think the total prize was around $15,000. And
Nice.
I'm very proud of myself that I did the conversions, did the conversions before coming in here. So the total price is about $15,000. That's actually around 250,000 rand
Yeah.
in South Africa. So that's essentially what we're doing, man. Giving the entrepreneurs as much support as we could, and ensuring that they thrive. Because if they thrive, the whole ecosystem becomes better. Because now the next leaders of the society and whatever are better, because they would have learned a lot through our initiatives, and now they can pass all those skills, all that information to whoever will be coming next. So that's essentially what we were doing with the UCT Entrepreneur Society.
Cool.
Yes.
So for entrepreneurs in your country, is there opportunities, or is it hard to start a business there? Can you kind of tell me how the system works in general?
It's actually pretty hard. It's pretty hard, but what I will also say is that it used to be harder, and
Okay.
now it seems like it's getting better. And it also depends on where you are in the country. One of the reasons why I chose to fall in love, I guess, with Cape Town was that it's probably the best city in South Africa to do business in. So
Okay.
you would probably have heard about Johannesburg and all of that, but Johannesburg is in, like, they're both old cities, yes, but Johannesburg is filled with a lot of old traditional businesses. That's where you
Hmm.
find your finance businesses. I mean, if, I don't know, JP Morgan is to have a branch here, they want to have it in in Johannesburg. Goldman Sachs, whatever. A lot of like these companies, they have their South African headquarters in Johannesburg because that's where the money used to be. So South Africa was a really industrious country because there was a lot of mining happening. After the gold discovery in South Africa, Johannesburg really became a big and great city because everyone was flocking to Johannesburg because there were now opportunities because of mining, the gold, the
Right.
diamonds. They're also not far from Gauteng. So all the minerals, a lot of the minerals that were mined in South Africa, and South Africa being so big in like in terms of mining, the opportunities were there. But now when it comes to sort of like the new businesses where we're focusing on innovation, on tech, Cape Town has become the place to be
Okay.
because of some of the policies that we have here. They make it very easy for doing business. Um, Cape Town is a really well-run city as compared to most of the cities in South Africa.
That's good.
So, and we have a really great university where we now have access to a lot of talent. So it depends where you are. If you're in Cape Town, it's a bit easier, but you don't get as many funding opportunities, for example, as you would maybe in the US. So it's a thing that's only starting to grow and grow right now. I mean, I was looking at some of the numbers I think a month ago that while it seems like investments are starting to maybe go down a bit in the US and whatever
Hmm.
due to I don't know economic issues, a
Right.
looming recession. In Africa, investments have actually increased.
Well, that's
You
good.
know, investments are actually increasing. Cape Town e- every year has been like having more and more investments coming in and all of that. So it's pretty hard if you are in the other place, but in Cape Town it's a bit better. There's a better and more established ecosystem. It's probably one of the big four in Africa if you are gonna look at Nigeria, Kenya, and I think Egypt. So Cape Town is there. It's if not the leading one, maybe in second. So that's essentially where we are.
That's
So
great.
yeah, whether it's hard or not depends on where you are in South Africa.
I got you.
Yes,
So let's talk about, I mean, you're doing amazing things. I mean, you know, I'm very like happy to be able to communicate with you and meet you because you inspire me as well. But I wanted to talk to you about your business. You know, what's going on with it. You know, we talked briefly before we came on that, you know, some changes, you kind of were changing things on that, which, you know, sometimes you have to adapt, right?
sure,
So so with Waiterbase, right, that's the name of your company, waiterbase.com.
100%.
um, what tell us about that. What is it? What does it do? How does it help? All the fun stuff on
Yeah. Where do I start with this? Okay.
it.
Now, now when I was still at the Entrepreneur Society, I was recruited by a company that are essentially changing the way recruitment and all of that work in the medical industry. So they had built what is essentially like Tinder, if you think about it,
Okay.
for medical professionals and the practices and hospitals and pharmacies that were hiring them. So essentially, they were the market. They were the marketplace. If a practice wants to hire someone, they book them through that company, and the thing was ensuring that it happens in real time. And you
Okay.
just send a request. Someone, the job seeker, as a business, you send a request. The job seeker gets a notification immediately. They can either accept or decline. That's where I was recruited to be an intern,
Okay.
and we ended up deciding to apply this sort of like almost the same model. And now you'll understand why we ended up changing things a bit. Um, the idea was to apply the same model, but in the hospitality industry.
Okay.
And the company that I was working at is actually coming in as a strategic partner.
Okay.
Yes. So we're trying to apply the same model, but we then realized that the hospitality industry and the medical industry are very different, and they face different problems. In the medical industry, the only thing you need to have is you need to have your qualification and you need to have done your training,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's it. You are eligible to be booked on the platform as
Okay.
long as you can prove that you have done those things. In the hospitality industry, it's it's a bit different. Some of the people don't really have qualifications. I mean, you don't get a qualification to be a waiter, for example. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Yes, yes. So we realized that the things are the two industries are very different, and we need to be applying different methods if we are gonna be solving the problem of recruitment in the hospitality industry. So now we got to do some research and we established that, oh shit, there's a bit of an issue here. There's a 44% turnover rate, employee turnover rate in the
Mm-hmm.
hospitality industry. So this means that 44% of people are leaving their jobs yearly. So that means they somehow have to keep being replaced. And I mean,
Right.
even if you think about it, a lot of people who are working in the hospitality industry are using it as a springboard. No one wants to stay a waiter forever.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of them are odd jobs and all of that. So we know that it's a come and go, come and go, come and go type of industry. So you need a platform that ensures that the connections between the businesses, so the business would be your hotels, your restaurants, and all of that. We need to ensure that the connections between them and the job seekers are done efficiently.
Okay.
And now I continued talking to some of the restaurant managers and owners. I went to Johannesburg to do some research. I did research in Cape Town, and they were telling me about how long it takes for the training to happen. And I was talking to this lady who was like, no, sometimes it takes maybe a few weeks or a few months to actually get the training done because they need to understand everything, our systems here, and
Mm-hmm.
the menu, write some tests, all of that. So that's just in restaurants. That's not even in hotels and the airports and other, industries that
Sure.
we will be getting in. So I was talking to them, and then that's when I realized, oh, training is also a thing here. And what we need to be doing is actually saving them time and cost by ensuring that the training can be done on our platform.
Mm.
So that's how now we decided that Waiterbase is going to work. So how it essentially works is that as a job seeker, you sign up to our platform, and before your profile can be active, before it can be eligible for being hired or booked,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's temporarily or whether it's full time on our platform, you have to go through the training section where you have to get a certain mark. After getting that certain mark, your profile is eligible to be booked.
So
Now,
that training, is it based off of, I mean, because hospitality has a lot of different like branches,
yes,
right? So is it
yes,
certain, like if they want to be a waiter that goes down that training, if they want to work in a
100%.
hotel? Okay. Very cool.
100%, 100%, and that's where it is. But now, the more interesting feature that we're adding is to say that for a company to see that you are the right person they can hire, there has to be something. So
Mm-hmm.
because now we've been in talks with these different companies, your Spurs, your KFC, your McDonald's, we've been in talks with them,
Right.
and we'll be onboarding them. They're actually waiting to be onboarded as soon as we start operations. I was telling you that we're starting operations next month. So essentially, what happens is that you will now have a training section for KFC, for your Spurs, for your McDonald's, And then when you've done that training and you've gotten a certain mark, we're now able to say you get a badge next to your profile. So, for example, if you've done KFC,
Okay.
you'll get a KFC badge next to your profile, and then you can keep accumulating the badges. You know what I mean?
So those companies are giving you like their training manual and saying, here's what we need them to know. And then you guys are using that on your
100%,
platform.
hundred
Okay.
percent.
Okay.
Because now they're
That's
not
smart.
necessarily pay. Yes, because now they're not necessarily paying for it. They only pay when they book a person through us.
Okay.
That's when they're
Gotcha.
paying. So now this shows that we're actually saving them money and time, because someone can get onto our platform and do the training on their own time.
Yeah.
And then
Plus you're getting more committed people, right? If they're going to do the training, then they're probably really going to go work instead of, just grabbing people that have no training. And if hopefully they show up to work, and I mean, that's how it is here anyway. So
true,
that's good.
100%. So that's essentially what Base is all about. We train these people, we ensure that they're okay, and then now they get onto our platform where they can be booked in real time. The only thing the business has to do, that's hiring the people, is to scroll through the people. So when you scroll through the profiles, you can see who is who. You can see, okay, this is T-Rob. These are his qualifications, if he has qualifications, if they are applicable.
Hmm.
And you can see their experience, what they've done, what they've done, their bio, and all of that. And you can see whether they have your badge, what training they've done, and all of that. So all you have to do is to just go into their profile. And when you get into their profile, we also have the calendar feature. So the calendar feature now allows you to see, for example, if you're going to book someone temporarily, you're going to need to know on which days are they available.
Right.
So now the job seeker has a calendar feature where they can be able to say, these are the days when I'm available. And it works very well for people who are students, because a lot of students take these odd jobs and all of that.
Yeah.
And it works very well for them to say, maybe I have an assignment due on this day. Maybe I have a test on Tuesday, on this day, so I'm not going to be able to work.
Yeah.
So now they are able to say, this is when I'm available, this is when I'm not. And the business can be able to say, okay, these are the days maybe they'll be working if I'm booking them temporarily, and all of that. And it will obviously be a different story if they are working a full-time job. So that's essentially what it is. And then they can now just click a button that says send request, and immediately the job seeker will get the notification, and they can either accept or decline. Another
So
important, yes.
so with okay, so just so I understand. So for the training portion of it, is that virtual training, or are they coming to you? I mean, are you guys are you doing this all over the country, or are you just kind of concentrating your area there?
Right now we are starting in our area. It is virtual training. A lot of the
Okay.
information they need to know is sort of like things that they need to understand how they work and all of that, so that when they now get to the restaurants, the onboarding doesn't take as long as it used to be when they actually do
Right.
it, and when they actually have to do it and be hands on. So
So
all we're doing is reducing the time and the cost.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I was going to ask. So how do you make money? Or is the company paying you to train people for them, or just for the recruitment part of it?
The recruitment part of it at the
Okay.
moment, as
Okay.
at this point we were starting, we're taking it from a recruitment point of view. So what happens is that the hourly rate of the the job seeker, once they're hired,
Hmm.
we take a percentage.
Okay.
We
Okay.
take like between 15 and 20% of what the person will be earning. So that's how we are making like our money. When you recruit people through us, we take a facilitation fee, and that's how the businesses
Okay.
pay us. Yes.
So for your training platform, have you guys built that yourself, or are you using a third party, or how did you build that?
Okay. So with regards to that, in South Africa, I think in the US probably too, accreditation is very important. So realize that me and my friends who built this, we are engineers, man. We don't know a lot about like the nitty-gritty of training in the hospitality industry. So what we've done instead is to partner with people who are already in the know, who already have experience.
Okay.
So we're partnering with one of the companies that has already been doing this, and they'll be coming in as our training partner because also they have accreditation from the relevant bodies. So
Okay. Well,
that's how we do it.
that's
Yes,
smart. I mean, why reinvent it if you can utilize people that are already doing it and
exactly.
have all
Yeah,
the training?
there's no need for us to be, trying to do something that we are not necessarily the best at. We are very good at building platforms, at understanding our business model, at reaching out to people and saying this is what we're doing, this is how this is benefiting you. And then that's more part of training where people have to go through all of that. That's not our strong suit, so you have to find someone to do it for you.
Sure.
That saves us time as well and money, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, for you guys, your job is going to be onboarding, right? Like finding companies that want to utilize your service and finding people that are looking for jobs. So I mean,
Yes.
you got two different things to do there. So very cool, man. I understand it more now. I didn't know exactly what you were doing. I did look at your website, but it doesn't have a lot of info on there. So I was
Yes, because as we're about to launch, we just have a landing page there,
yeah,
and it'll probably look different by the time you check again.
cool, cool, man.
Yes. Yes.
That's really neat. So, what? So I'm assuming. Well, I mean, you came into working with another company that was doing something similar in the medical field. So you saw a need in the hospitality and kind of jumped on it. I mean, that's man, you're definitely an entrepreneur. That's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
mean,
that's yeah.
for
So
seeing a need and going after it, man, that's really cool because there's a lot of people that see the need, but they don't do the work, and so good job on that, Sam.
yeah, that's actually true, man. So yeah, we're just trying to start here in South Africa as soon as possible, and then we'll be moving to other countries depending on the need. That's actually what we want to do. We actually want to be moving into other countries, and maybe the problem will have to be solved differently depending on the country. So I guess context will be very important in terms of moving into other countries and all of that. And I mean, in Europe, for example,
Hmm.
and we already started conversations with them actually, because in Europe it's a different story. In Europe, you have you probably have heard of Brexit, where
Yeah.
yes, and since the whole Brexit thing happened, the UK is in a position where they don't have as much inward migration as they used to have. So
Hmm.
now, what that results in is a shortage of, I guess, cheap labor. So
Okay.
the labor is not as cheap as it used to be, and the people that are there are not necessarily taking up jobs like being a waiter, being a chef, being working, doing this and this and this at the hotels and
Right.
all of that. So the UK is actually having a crisis right now.
Wow.
I've read up on it quite a lot. They're actually having a crisis right now in terms of labor shortages. And
Hmm.
what they're actually doing right now is hiring people from India, from South Africa. So we are also looking into taking that opportunity and being a feeder. But it's a very different, it's a very different mechanism if you are having to, you know, take people to another country. There's a lot involved. There's visas. There's this, that. It's quite a long process, and they're actually paying a lot of money to ensure that people are getting their visas and all the right documents that they need to be there. The people are getting paid bonuses, crazy bonuses, just to come and work there.
Wow.
So the UK is having quite a crisis, and they are the ones who are in need of solving this problem more than South Africa, actually.
Yeah. I mean, do you have competition in this space?
The competition that we have is really traditional
Okay.
recruitment agencies. So we
Okay.
don't really have much competition in terms of how we are doing it. If there's
Okay.
competition, it's not on the market yet. But in terms of competition, it's just traditional recruiters. So Jobvine, I think Jobvine is also in the US. So
Hmm.
something like Jobvines. I think we have Indeed here as well.
Yeah.
The usual recruitment platforms. That's what we have, and they're very expensive. They take quite some time to get the recruitments done. And by the way, another thing that I didn't mention is that we are very big on putting the power in the people's hands, and by the people, we mean the people who are looking for work. We actually allow them to pick their own rates, to
Oh,
say this is how much I earn. So before an employer says, I want this person to come work, they already know how much that person is expecting to earn. But of course, the rates are within market related figures. So they choose their own rates depending on how much they think, according to their experience and the skills they have and their qualification, according to how much they think they're worth. So that's another thing that we do.
okay. Well, that's very cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys have, sounds like you're putting a lot of work into it, and you're launching in a couple of weeks, and just, man, that's awesome. I wish you the best of luck on that. I mean, I think it's going to do great because you got a little niche there that you're working, and it's probably, it's probably untapped at this point. So that's always nice when you're starting out a business that you don't have a lot of competition directly,
100%, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
go ahead.
yes, and Rob, we should also talk. I wanna find out also how the market is there in the US. I have a friend of mine who also actually be coming to work in the US. They're trying to expand their business to the US. So I would love to find out from you and maybe some of the people you know, if you know people who own restaurants and hotels or whatever, to find out how things are there, how things work, and to see if we can bring this solution to the US as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that this definitely is needed here. I mean, because it's similar to what you're seeing. There's a ton of turnover, and no one wants to work those type of jobs anymore. So it's
100%.
like, so similar to what you're dealing with. I mean, it's probably close to the same. So or kind of like the UK. It's similar to that, but not probably to that extreme yet. But I could definitely see your platform working here, for sure.
100%, 100%. I think, yeah, we should definitely try and explore that. Because I mean, I don't know a lot of people, or actually don't know anyone in the US right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Well,
would be really helpful if we could, try and explore that, try and talk to some of people there and see how we can make this work.
yeah, yeah. Anything I can help you with, man. I more than happy to listen and give you some advice on it for sure. I don't know everything, but I'm here and I kind of know what's going on for sure. So
100%, 100%.
yeah. So um I always ask this for everybody that comes on. I want to ask you, do you have a favorite productivity hack that you use? Maybe it's an app, maybe it's a book, maybe it's something you do. Because I always try to share something with other entrepreneurs, and maybe a way that helps you that you could share with them.
Phew.
and
Um,
I know I've caught you at 2 a.m. So thank you, Sam, for your quick responses. If you don't, I'm not worried about it. You don't have to come up with anything. Um,
yeah, I don't really have one that I'm using right now. I mean, I just wake up and work, and
yeah,
I just wake up, exercise in there. Um, yeah, that's what I do, and I just work. I mean, I was watching who's this guy? Michael, is it Siebel, from Y Combinator? They were actually talking about those things, productivity hack, what they
yeah.
do and whatnot. Because I'm also trying to learn some of those hacks that can make me better. But from my side, I just wake up and put in the work as much as I can. That's what I do.
Oh, that's good, man. I mean, I'm fine with that. You don't have to have a hack of any kind.
Yeah,
It's just a question I ask because a lot of people go, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, I got this," or well, the last person I had on, it was yoga. That's what they did, yoga.
Oh,
So it kind of
oh,
helped them,
it
physically and mentally, and So it could be anything.
Oh, I guess for me it's exercising. It helps me a lot, and I used to actually meditate um,
Yeah.
every now and then, but I've been doing it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So what's future plans for you? I mean, I know you've got, waiter base, but what's your overall goal for yourself? I mean, you mentioned that you potentially wanted to come over here at some point, but what are you trying to do, Sam? What's your end goal?
So I think my end goal is to not just stop here with Waitabase. So I think Waitabase is just one of the many um, projects, I guess, that I'm going to be involved in.
Hmm.
There's many other problems that I would like to solve. There's many other technologies that I would like to use. For example, another project that I do, and I do it like part time and all of that is, remember I talked about how we're helping entrepreneurs and all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm actually sort of like setting up a business in South Africa that does that. And the reason being that I have built quite a strong and I guess big network around me of
Hmm.
startup founders, of people who run accelerator programs, of people who are in the VC space and all of that. So now the thing that we're doing is trying to connect entrepreneurs because there's a lot of entrepreneurs who, like me, don't know who to seek help from and where to start and who to get guidance from,
Right.
especially the people who are in pre-seed and seed stages. And those are the people that we are helping. By the way, that's something we're actually launching to now. It's just that now I was here to talk about database, but that's
Yeah.
something I'm launching with a partner that I'm doing it with. She's a lady who actually also studied in the US, funny enough. She actually studied finance and all of that in the US. She's an investor relations manager, I think, where she works.
Uh-huh.
So essentially, that's what we're doing. Strengthening the connections between the entrepreneurs and the people who can invest in their companies, the people who can be, and we also running a mentorship program where we are pairing them with entrepreneurs and whatnot. So that's
Wow.
our offering. So we take them through the offerings because the lady that who's my partner is a bit more experienced in terms of like things that have to do with fundraising and all of that. She's
Hmm.
helped a number of startups fundraise, and she does risk analysis and all of those things for them. I'm very good with connecting people with mentors and trying to solve whatever the problems that they may be having in the startups and all of that. So that's essentially what we are offering. So those are some of the things that I want to keep doing. I want to keep being involved in helping other entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
sharpen and get better.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, when you're doing that, because you're also learning yourself, because you're right in the middle of it. So I definitely know that feeling. That's why I do what I do now, is because you learn a lot talking to people like you. So, but um, well, I've enjoyed this. Sam, I've enjoyed learning, what you're doing and kind of learning. The funny thing is that we're miles apart, but it seems like you guys have the same struggles that we have in the entrepreneur world. Like the
Oh man,
business
we
world.
do, we
It's
do,
the same thing. It's the
we do,
same
yeah,
thing. So, so
we do.
yeah. But I just appreciate you coming on, being up at 2 in the morning to come on my podcast is really cool, man. And I tell everyone, and I mean it, like if I can ever help with anything, you reach out. And if you need to know more about if the market's good or bad over here for what you're doing, reach out to me, man. Anytime. I'm always willing and to talk to you about it. So
Let me also take a picture of this.
yeah, yeah, man.
Are you still talking? Quickly, it was going to take like 20 seconds.
Yeah. So while we're doing this, where can people find you at, Sam? How can they reach you? It's the best way to.
Um, oh, I can't type or anything on this. Okay. So you can find me on my LinkedIn.
Okay.
I think that's mostly where people can find. Oh, and you also have my Twitter. Oh, it's private now. But at my LinkedIn, it's just my names. If you type Samuel, so my full name is Samuel. So
Okay.
Samuel, and I have a middle name that people probably won't be able to pronounce. It's it's Molatudi, Molatodi. So it's Samuel, and then my middle name, my middle name Molatudi, Molatodi, and then Mahara, my surname. So that's where people
Mahara.
can.
Okay.
Yes, that's how
Okay.
people can find me on LinkedIn, man. That's where I'm most, I think,
Okay.
active. So
Very
people can
cool.
find me on there. And yeah, man, I hope this is not the first time we talk. This is not the last time. So yeah, I hope this is not the last time we talk. And one of these days, I'll come back and give an update on how it
Yeah, I would love
going.
it. I mean,
Going.
it's funny because I'm booked out for months now, which is great, but
I saw that.
I want to start circling back, people that I've talked to months ago to see how they're doing with their business. So I'd love to have you back, Sam. So, book again down the road and let's have you come back, and you'll knowing you'll probably have 3 or 4 different businesses by then. So
True.
so anyway, man, I'm gonna let you go get some sleep, man. Thanks for coming on, Sam. Appreciate you. And we'll talk soon.
100%, man. I actually have a bit of work to do, so I don't think I'm gonna sleep now. So
Oh
yeah.
man, you're an animal.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. Yeah, bro. I hope, man, this relationship will be very beneficial for the both of us, and this is definitely not the last time that you'll be hearing from me or hearing also about me. Um, by the end of this year, I'll be miles. I'll be very far from where I am right now, and it's going to be great to see that growth, and it's going to be great to also see myself at some point moving into an international market. That's definitely something I can promise is going to happen.
Yeah, that's great, man. Keep pushing, Sam. I believe in you. So good luck, man. We'll talk
Thank you
soon.
so Thank you so much, Rob. Enjoy the rest of, I think it's evening. Yeah, it's still
Yeah,
evening.
evening.
All right. All right.
Take care, man.
Thanks,
Get some
Rob.
rest. All right, that was Sam from South Africa, which was really cool. It's nice to connect with people from different countries and just kind of, when I talk to them, they have such similarities of what we have going on in the U.S. here, with in regards to business and entrepreneurship and startups. It's kind of similar all over the world, so it's been really cool connecting with him. And what an entrepreneur! The guy's a really, 24 years old and president of his like club at his university, entrepreneur club. So good stuff from Sam. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you tune in Thursday. We're hopefully you're gaining a lot of stuff from people that are bringing on, because I know they're all smarter than I am. So you're getting more out of it than I am, or that than from me. So keep tuning in, keep subscribing, keep sharing it. Thank you so much for your support. I get some great comments from people, and I really appreciate it. So take care, guys. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you on Thursday.